Well, hello, Brandon.
Hi there.
By the way.
Yes, I am recording. It's for me, not for you.
I'll start out like nice, I guess.
Try to look good. So,
As always, how do we feel like, how are things going? How are you from a standpoint?
sure. Well, like I said, I mean, things are functional, which is good. I'm still, I mean, are we talking about things I want to work on, or just like how are things?
Whatever direction you want to go, that's going to help you figure out where your brain is.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like, I'm happy that, students are, learning in my class, but I just want to have a handle on just like how being as effective as I possibly can be. So like, just making sure that my office hours is good, and that students are growing the most between the Q1 and the Q2 interim that I can possibly, like, if there's anything I can do, I just want to make sure that I'm as effective as possible. So I do have like some degree of worry just to make sure that I'm as effective as possible, but other than that, I mean, it's like But the things that I've implemented so far have had positive effects on my classroom, so I don't feel lost, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like there's like things that, like, if I want to see X, Y, Z happen, I can do these steps, right? So, if that makes any sense. So,
Can you be specific about the things that you've implemented to make that work?
yeah, sure. Well, the aggressive monitoring with like attaching a grade to it, and then I did a couple times where I've just collected the assignment and given specific feedback about what I wanted to see. That is, like, students know what I expect as a result of that. Another thing is the whole do now structure, like the whole do now and homework structure, was just showing the answers and just making that sort of like a review space, while at the same time being able to cover new material. Students have been responding pretty well to that, and I noticed that, like, class will go well if I start it well and I make sure that I have like that structure in place every day.
No, that's great. I mean, those are all, I think the great part of that is that they're all things we've talked about at different points of the year. So, like, you can tell, like, as we're building these things, they're getting better and better. So, yeah, I mean, some things I saw there, too, like, it's definitely, that beginning of class is definitely strong. And then, I'm glad you're worried about the quarter two interim, because, like, if you weren't worried about it, that'd be, like, a different concern, because, like, I'm also worried about the quarter two interim.
Right.
It's, like, yeah. One of the things that kind of drives us, especially junior teachers, is like, man, they really do have to take the ACT.
They have to take the
It's for real. And I feel like I just opened up your quarter two documents. Like, you also know what's coming, so you can prepare yourself and prepare your students for like those things that they need to get from our conversation on grad. So I mean, it's good. I mean, I think the thing is, I think the key is like it's continual improvement and getting better and like developing those teacher skills.
Right.
And so what I kind of pulled for this one is I took a couple clips. We're gonna watch a very, very short one. It might be hard to hear because of everything going on.
Sure.
But like we're just like I took a longer clip of group work and like it was actually pretty solid. There's a little bit of off task, but for the most part, everything except for like this group test.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
They were doing this, and this is where you're coming back. You're going to try to give some narration here.
Right.
I want you just to focus in on what you say, what happens to students. We're going to watch for about a minute. We can watch it again. Sure. I have it maxed in the volume department. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
I am also betting that 6 or 7 minutes is enough for us. Like, it may take only 6 or 7 minutes to watch them, but how much are you then going to come back together and talk about it? And
usually I literally just take 1 or 2 responses, but this is a more lengthy question, so this will take longer. I would say maybe 8 minutes, because the video I'm actually going to try to keep under 4 minutes.
okay, and then they'll have 4 minutes to kind of reflect. And the key things here are just like, the key point that you need to walk away with is the emotions we see in a movie are not the way that we gather emotions in we'll text to it again, and then send the text afterwards, move on. So then we go into phase 2/3, where they're gonna get one question to work through for the entire rest of the time. Correct, true, right?
No, I lied. I started to after it.
Alright, so it's a quick clip. Start with what do you feel like you did well in that clip?
Just in that
Just like a
little
1 minute
segment.
snippet, like when you're giving those instructions there.
Well, I mean, one thing is that I just very specifically and very like shortly told them exactly what I'd like them to do.
Well, it kind of leads us into phase
And I told them where they're like, that next part, like the way that activity built was like they got to see the answers like as part of like their next activity.
Going back to this question.
And
Tomorrow.
utilize the reader.
You're gonna flip back and forth, and then kids' brains are moving from the video to this
And
other
then
random question.
what did you see in there that you'd like to improve or
I need to stop saying basically what I'd like to see is. I need to stop that. Because I'm thinking while I'm talking. But other than that, let's see here. I do want to make sure I have full tracking. So, I mean, tracking is good, but not like, Jalen wasn't looking up, so.
Jalen's on his calculator right here. You can
Yeah,
tell.
he was on his calculator,
And
so
if you look
he didn't hear
is
it.
too. Yeah.
Juan is sitting the wrong way, and I have to just fix the way the seating chart is. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so pull back.
I also
That's not
noticed
on
that
your-
you asked for them to get to the right page, and like actually I'm still figuring out to get the right page, and you just
Why
immediately
is
started.
that?
I went too
So,
fast,
yeah.
is that what you're saying?
So like that
Okay.
time for the kids to actually.
I do notice that. I do notice that I go too. Sometimes I feel like I'm
So like
going
I think
too slow, but maybe I'm just going too fast.
you're actually going fast a lot of the time because like you're giving them instruction like flip your page over.
Okay, so where?
So you asked everyone to track the front, and then immediately started, and it's like Jalen's still down, Shalena's still here.
Right, you gotta make that a big deal.
So it's like you asked for them to track the front, but then you didn't actually like give them the time to track the front
Give
and
them the
redirect
time
those kids who are
every time.
But then
Okay.
for
Every time. It just it becomes second nature eventually.
The thing I'm worried about, and the thing I'm worried about is that if I like allow it like so much time that it's just like students are just like, oh come on, let's just go ahead and get started, kind of.
But I feel like when you're then giving instructions and kids aren't getting them, you're actually in the long run
In the long
more
run, it's
time.
bad, yeah.
So no, I mean, I
That's
think like it's that next step, and then I realized like at the beginning of this you were trying to implement the behavior cycle.
Yeah.
And I think like, what I mentally noted here was that it was something that I don't think you've ever seen necessarily done.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to
That's true.
like in this meeting I'm going to narrate or I'm going to like demonstrate. Like I'll stand up and be the teacher,
Okay.
so you can see like how it would be done,
How it
at least
works.
in like this controlled environment.
Okay.
And then I'll give you a couple chances to practice it once you've seen like what's in my head. 'Cause I think I've tried to explain it to you, but I don't think I've ever done a good job of showing it.
Yeah.
To how
Is
it
that the
works.
part was like I see such and such is
Yeah.
paying attention, I see such and such, yeah.
Exactly. So like that's what I want to
Okay.
go to here. So I'm gonna.
I have done that before, but I don't think it's like something I do every single time.
Yeah.
It's
So I still
well,
think.
because I obviously didn't do it, yeah.
Well, I still think it's one of those things that it just bears practicing on how it's actually going to look and sound.
Okay, sure.
So like I'm gonna do it very quickly, and then and then we're gonna figure out like one of these times like today where you're going to use this because there's gonna be a time where you need something.
Okay.
So it's the one where you get like everyone's attention, the one that's the most pressing for you right now. Like you feel like people aren't paying attention when you try to start talking.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do my best here to narrate. I might narrate some of our friends in the room. See what Miss Flynn's doing right now.
Getting the
She's
right
not
answer.
distracted.
And
So
then-
I'm now you. You'll be student one. I mean, this time just be the student who is following through on directions, and then we'll worry about like what happens when they don't.
When they don't, okay.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, and 0. I need everyone tracking the front. I have Brandon's eyes. I have Miss Antonelli's eyes. I have Kate's eyes. Thank you. Let's get started. I give
Now it's your
instructions.
job in the
All right,
positive.
and so now I can give instructions. So now I'm just making sure I'm doing a quick scan. Now this time you can be the student who is
Not.
Not on
Okay.
task. All right, if you want to use something that's off task. All right, I got 3, 2, 1, and 0. 0 means tracking the front. I see I have Kate's eyes.
See, it would be
I have
helpful if
Miss
the
Wang's
timer
eyes.
would, like,
Brandon, I
have a
asked for your
timer
eyes,
that
it's off
limits
task
on
if you want
things
to
that,
merit.
like, you have 2 minutes to discuss, go, but I like break this down, so this person, they don't actually
Thank you for
get
coming back.
this, you know?
All right, now that we have
Well, they
this
should, and this is,
Mhm.
this
So it's
is what
like
needs to be measured.
kind of scanning the room, and in that way,
Like, the
hopefully,
video is
right,
gonna be
you're off task, right? I'm saying
7
Miss Flynn's eyes, I'm saying I
I
have
don't
Miss
think
Wang's
that's
eyes, hopefully
necessary. I think
I
you
should
just
look,
say,
Right.
and only
we
like
have
that's it. So it's like,
7
it's quick,
minutes to watch
but it
the
also
video.
gives like that,
Go
like,
ahead and
right now
set
you have no time,
7
Mhm.
minutes.
so you want more
I also
time.
think it's important for you.
I have no time.
So right now you're giving no time, you're saying like,
I'm giving no. You're right. Yeah.
everyone track me, go, and like, but like, I'm still not giving a ton of time, I'm giving it like
So
10,
maybe I
15
need to
second
upload my
window
Right.
there.
timers.
And it's just like,
What do you actually?
I know the kids think it's funny, but it
So
works.
mine put it.
It's very effective. They hear what you want and they see what you want.
I know. I tell you what. When I do implement
I have
it,
timers in every class, and
it
3
is.
of them Brandon
They
passed,
know.
and 2 of them are doing
It
great.
works.
My fifth
Basically,
grade,
is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
They know it works.
They know what to expect.
So like so like for obviously very like short, it's like short snappy practice here, but it's like the thing that's going to like you have a good entry starting to build now, and now like you need to be able to switch between things and have people working. So it's important that I work on this. So I want you to do is like actually just practice like a bunch of times. This is a short thing, so you can practice 6 or 7 times right now.
Right.
Where like you practice and then like just do what I did, narrate the people in the room, or narrate the presidents over there on Mr. Buckley's shelf. Whoever you want to narrate, and then like I'll start being the student who's doing the right thing, and then we'll work on what happens when I'm still on my calculator or I'm still trying to work on
Okay,
things.
sure.
All right.
All right.
Well, this is my 30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
But I want to give a little bit.
All right, let's go ahead and bring attention to the front. Everybody bring attention to the front. Ah, I see that Mr. Patterson is paying attention to the
Why are
front.
you cutting
I
it
see
down?
that Miss Flynn is paying attention to the front. All right, great. I see Mr. Lincoln is paying attention to the front. Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Now you're doing a lot of dancing.
I'll like
Yeah.
close
A
up.
whole lot of
That's not
dancing.
good.
No, it's not good. No,
Yeah, but I was hoping
stand,
to get
deliver instructions.
Okay.
So let's practice the same thing again. I'll be a good student again,
Mhm.
but stand, give instructions.
Mhm. Okay.
It feels weird, but just like it's like that perfect practice. Like you want to give the directions firm, not moving.
Not moving.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Excavating here.
Okay, let's go ahead and go into lecture mode. I'd like everybody to be paying attention to the front, giving me their eyes. I see Mr. Patterson is paying attention to the front. I see Miss Flynn is paying attention to the front. I see Mr. Lincoln is paying attention to the front. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, see,
Basically.
that's basically it. All right, now
With a video.
I'll add in that next level where I'm gonna just keep. I'm not gonna even be talking to my team. I'm just gonna blast through your instructions. I'm gonna keep working.
Okay, right, okay.
Friday, so Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, let's go ahead and go into lecture mode. I'd like everybody to be paying attention to the front and looking up here and stopping what they're doing.
So.
Okay, I see that Mr. Lincoln is paying attention to the front. I see Miss Flynn is paying attention to the front.
And then Thursday.
Mr. Patterson, we are not paying attention to the front. Let's have your attention to the front, please. Okay, all right, good. All right, good. Let's go ahead and begin.
What didn't you do?
You give demerit in that situation.
And now
Absolutely.
they're gonna
Okay.
apply
Like I think there's like it's that little like
Uh-huh.
you gave an instruction and like I am actively not following. It's a
Right.
decision like I heard you. It's like sadly everyone else is back, everyone else is tracking, and I'm just like. Hopefully my group mates are like give me a little jab inside, like get going, but like I'm not following your instructions. No matter how on task I seem with my calculator banking and stuff, like I'm not following instructions. Alright, right back, same situation. This time you're gonna give me my demerit for not paying attention.
Okay, all
It's
right.
it's not the end of the world. They know what they're supposed to do.
They know what they're supposed to do.
If without that consequence, they're not gonna come around to follow your instructions.
Okay, all right.
And 5
All right, let's go ahead and bring attention to the front.
And that it's
Everybody, let's go ahead and go into lecture mode. Bring attention to the front. I see that Mr. Lincoln is paying attention to the front. I see that Miss Flynn is paying attention to the front. Mr. Patterson, we are not paying attention to the front as expected. You are going to have a off-test demerit. There's going to be 1 demerit.
And then.
All right, let's go ahead and pay attention to the front, and let's go ahead and get started.
After our video and discussion to.
Is that better?
focus
It's better.
Really.
Just again, again, just be short. It's like one for being
Just
off
be
task.
short.
Like you don't have.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'm
Uh-huh.
just blatantly not following
instructions.
Because I hear it and I'm just like, sure. I mean, I was doing homework. It's like, I need your attention. Okay, I'm gonna go.
That's right. That's what I'm doing my work, and it's like, well, it's important that you pay attention no matter what you're doing.
Because you think about it, like if Jalen's sitting here on his calculator and like a student who's struggling is right next to him, like, oh, I can just be on my calculator too. I don't have to.
That's right.
Pay attention, even though that student definitely needs to pay attention. So that's why it's important to have 100% attention.
Right.
So let's try that one again. Just get it into the mouth.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring attention to the front. I see that Mr. Lincoln is paying attention to the front. I see Ms. Flynn is paying attention to the front. Mr. Pattison, we are not paying attention to the front during lecture mode. That's going to be 1 demerit. All right, let's go ahead and pay attention to the front. Let's go ahead and get started. That better?
Yeah. No, I mean,
It's almost like if I put less effort into it, it's better.
less is more. Yeah, no, I think it's the idea. It's like you're giving an instruction, and like, and this also works. Say you're going in from, like, you finished your lecture, you finished giving them the examples, and you're going to start practicing. It's like, right now I need everyone to practice number 2. You are going to be working independently. Go. You know, like I see Jalen is working independently. I see Juan is working independently, and it gives like that chance for Michael's trying to gibber or something. It's like, oh, I see that Lala's working independently, and then it's like Michael's still not working right, still on a task. Like there's 3 different reminders on top of the instruction. Like you're giving 4 opportunities pre-demerit to fix the behavior, which is more than anyone's really entitled to. It's like you are giving so many opportunities in this structure before that consequence is issued that you should have to do it.
Okay.
And so it's going to happen. At first, it's like they're right now. You can tell that like this student is used to not having to perfectly follow your instructions,
Right.
Because he's not. You can see that like Juan's not. You can see like Shalena's being very slow on it.
Right.
So like I think
the issue is that I think there's certain students who feel entitled because they feel that they know certain material. They feel entitled to not pay attention.
well then that's something you can easily break them of with following through on these things.
Right. Okay.
I mean that's really where we're, like I'm not saying good, bad, or the ever for the students. I'm saying students need to pay attention because like these 2 students not paying attention is going to be way more disastrous for their learning than it is for Jalen's. But we need Jalen to be participating at the same level they are, and he also should be able to help them. Like he's a pretty strong math student, so he should be able to help 2 more struggling students in the class. But instead he's off doing Jalen things and not being off doing Jalen.
Yeah, I'm having a really hard time messaging that. Yeah, let's just trust singles. I'm having.
I love Joe, but like I try the same thing in the last year. It's like, dude, you need to help people,
right?
And he's just like he'll try. He does try, so you can just keep working with him on it.
Okay.
But I think it's like that. The key thing to worry about here is like, don't get hung up on like who knows what, who doesn't know what. It's like
that's the part that paralyzes me.
I give instructions. You follow the instructions, no matter what you think you know. I am the teacher.
That's right.
And like this structure is just designed to help you reinforce the fact that you are the teacher all the time. I give an instruction. There are and you look at this class, 90% of the kids followed your instructions perfectly. Like you're not in a position where you had half the class just doing whatever and then the other half of the class paying attention. You had most of the class paying attention, but now like you end up giving this new instruction. He's unsure of this because he didn't hear you say negative 500 and now he's messed up to try to help his classmate. So like so like this is like it's important. If you're saying something, it's important, and kids need to listen to it.
That's right.
And that's where we're at. So that's why I wanted to show you that clip because like it's one of those clips where like you can see where your progression is coming along and the clips are getting better.
Right.
And now we're like working on getting that next level of 100% engagement.
That's right.
If that follows logic.
No, that makes sense. That's the part I'm like.
Yeah, I mean, and it's something that doesn't come naturally. It's gonna be like we might be having this conversation for a month here until it gets to the point where it's just natural for you, and that's okay. Like it's the next step of your development in terms of like turning your class into a place where you're comfortable. Kids are following your directions. Kids view you as their respected authority all the time.
Right.
Like that's where, and this is one of the ways that you can do it. And it's just very low. It's like very non-invasive way of getting kids to follow your directions.
Right.
You're not just like yelling, like you're giving them.
Well, that's kind of what I feel like I'm doing when I give demerits, and so I'm really trying to be fair, but at the same time, like, Because the thing I'm thinking about is like with the off-task thing, it's like, well, maybe they didn't get it, like, and that's why. So like with a specific reminder.
Well, maybe that's a content thing. Maybe you didn't get it during independent practice. But like if you're giving instructions, like if you're giving notes and they're not following the notes,
Right.